Powered by WCTV.tv. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Now at 5, crime tape up at the scene of a shooting in Tallahassee. It happened just after 1 o'clock this afternoon.
TPD telling us it happened at the Marathon gas station on West Pensacola Street. Our Alex Crescente joins us live. And Alex, what do we know right now?
Abby, Julie, as you can see behind me, the scene here is clear, but just a few hours ago, there were multiple Tallahassee police vehicles here regarding a shooting here that occurred, just after 1 o'clock. And officers, there's not many details being released at this moment, but officers were notified of the shooting and responded, and emergency personnel provided immediate medical attention to one individual, and that person is in the hospital right now, but we don't have a current condition on that person. It's not known who was shot as well. But we did speak to some residents who lived in the direct area of the gas station here off of Pensacola Street. They say that there's not a whole lot of police activity that goes on in something like this. They've never really seen in that area. But yeah, we'll have more for you coming up at 6. For now, reporting in Tallahassee, Alex Crescente, back to you in the studio.
All right, Alex, and we'll continue to share those details as soon as we get them. The flu continuing to devastate the country. 39 children have now died from it. The latest victim is a 4-year-old girl from New Jersey. Some schools are choosing to close down and clean up to try to help stop the spread of the flu. Locally, an uptick in students missing school. But Leon County Schools says they will not be closing. Administrators telling us that 800 more students are out right now compared to this time last year. Erica Fernandez tells us why they're remaining open and staying hopeful.
Although attendance rates show a big chunk of students missing class lately, LCS says there is still 91% of students coming to school every single day, and they say that's enough reason to keep the doors open. But it's not just the students the administration is looking at. They're also keeping a close eye on the staff, including teachers and bus drivers. If there's enough faculty healthy enough to have kids in the classrooms, there's more than enough reason to have school every day. Just like kids, the adults get sick too, but it hasn't taken a huge enough toll on staffing, and the district is determined to make sure it won't.
Our schools are reacting as best as they can. They're doubling up in some classrooms, or I know they're putting as many subs and sometimes principals down there to make sure that they watch the classrooms, but I think that's one of the factors that we'll continue to watch.
LCS also advising kids and adults to stay home if they're not well, and they're educating everyone of how to stay healthy during flu season. Superintendent Rocky Hanna has also approved overtime for custodians this weekend to work on sanitizing and cleaning the campuses and buses. That way, nobody gets a case of this nasty flu. Reporting in Tallahassee, Erica Fernandez, WCTV Eyewitness News.
And staying with the topic of the flu, many doctors saying an increase in that virus is causing a shortage on their Tamiflu stock. However, CareRx Pharmacy in Tallahassee, as you can see, making it clear it still has some.
I haven't seen any panic yet, but every now and then I do get those calls. Do you have Tamiflu in stock? I say, yes, I do.
Patel saying Tamiflu isn't the only thing that's highly sought after. Face masks are also in high demand as people are doing whatever they can to stay flu-free.
New developments today in a church set on fire. A former member of that South Georgia church is now in custody. 37-year-old Kentrez Gardner is facing burglary and arson charges. Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church in Camilla heavily damaged from the smoke and flames. Investigators tell us that Gardner confessed to breaking in and setting the fire. Damage is estimated at more than $100,000.
Several businesses recovering 24 hours after an explosion shakes downtown Valdosta. You're looking at some new drone video showing us a new perspective of what the company is calling a dust explosion in one of their silos. Operators at the 911 call center say they responded to more than 24 calls. People panicking from that blast. Our Nolani Matthews joins us back at the scene with the latest update.
As you can see behind me, local departments and businesses are still dealing with the aftermath of this explosion. The blast not only leaving pricey damage, but fear in its wake.
Getting missile or something like that, you know. That's just how powerful it was.
Some describing it as a sonic boom and even a fireball. Residents nearly citywide recalling the noise from the explosion. Moments after, that noise would be in the form of nonstop ringing at the 911 call center. Operators responding to around 25 frantic phone calls, dispatching local fire and police officials rushing to the scene.
When they heard it, they thought a vehicle may have hit the structures in a lot of the downtown business in downtown area. Until the information got out, they weren't aware what was actually going on.
24 hours later, the Valdosta Fire Department is back on the scene. They say while this crane is getting a better look to assess the damage, they're standing by as a precautionary measure. Although the blast only lasted mere moments, the damage to downtown shops will last for quite a while. Many are now working to figure out who will cover these expenses, whether it'll be their insurance or by filing a claim against South Georgia Pecan. For now in Valdosta, Noelani Matthews, WCTV Eyewitness News.
Florida lawmakers are trying to close a loophole right now. It's letting potential sex offenders destroy evidence before it can be seized. Mike Vasalinda tells us the bad guys are getting help from the very same people who tip off police.
When web services like Gmail, Facebook, and others find child porn in a subscriber's account, they notify the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It, in turn, calls local police. They get a subpoena for the material and send it to the provider. What happens next will stun you.
So the Facebook, Google, some of the other social media sites will immediately let that account holder know that there's a subpoena for their account and that law enforcement has subpoenaed them.
But what happens after the perp is notified is predictable.
Evidence could be destroyed. Children can be coerced. We did one case where we had to force entry into a house, and the individual was running the CDs through a shredder.
Legislation moving at the state capitol would tell providers they can't tell the perp about the subpoena for at least 6 months. None of the familiar big internet names have publicly opposed this legislation, but we're told they're working behind the scenes to make changes. Through 3 committee hearings, only one independent data firm has suggested the bill goes too far.
A doctor, a lawyer, the family's accountant could have their emails seized.
Sponsor Chris Latvala says the loophole exists for just one reason.
These companies are more concerned with their trade secrets or their products than they are doing the right thing.
Police say they need at least 6 months before suspects are told about the investigation. That's because these cases often involve a dozen or more young victims. Mike Vasalinda, WCTV Eyewitness News, Tallahassee.
All right, let's take a look outside. Very nice day. Julie, I think this week has been a day, you start the day off, maybe bundled up,
Yes.
and by the end of the day, you can wear short sleeves.
Even by lunchtime,
Yeah,
it feels like an
exactly.
entirely different day, Mike.
And I think you're talking about the flu stories, that's what we need. We need where everyone can get outdoors and not have everyone stuck inside because it's so cold or rainy, although the rainy might not be such a bad thing either. This morning, we're all bundled up again. You're right, temperatures were down into the mid to upper 30s, but then that nice little warm-up. Temperatures got well into the 60s. Some of you even getting close to 70 this afternoon. It's backed off a little bit now just because of that cloud cover that you just saw from the tower cam, but still so far, no rainfall just yet in our area, but we are starting to see some showers out over the panhandle, so that's at least encouraging. We're starting to see some rain within radar range, and this is all part of a front which is going to provide a little bit of cooler air and only a little bit of rain, but it's still only one of 2 fronts coming through before we get done with the weekend. I'll talk about the second wetter one coming up in a few minutes.
Right, stick around, it'll change,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Well, coming up on Eyewitness News at 5, a health food hazard.
Fast food, not exactly the best choice if you're trying to eat healthy. But what if you don't have time to cook? There are some choices that can satisfy your hunger without busting the calorie bank.